Hey everyone, Chris here with PEO Metrics. PEO Metrics is a free service which quickly compares the top 5 to 8 PEOs for your business, saving you up to 30% on your PEO costs. Today we're talking about PEOs for startups. So I've got a startup business, I only have a handful of employees, and I want to be hyper-focused on my business. I want to really stay focused on the day-to-day operations. I want to focus on my strategy, my execution, and ultimately I want to delight my customers. Does it make sense for me to partner with a PEO, and how can partnering with a PEO help me fast track my startup? It's a great question. We get asked this. PEOs work with businesses from 1 employee to hundreds of employees, okay? And there are definitely certain PEOs that specialize in partnering with startups. The benefit of a startup partnering with a PEO is that startups are then able to outsource majority of the challenging HR related tasks that really get in the way of the startup hyper-focusing on their goals and going out in the market and achieving upon their strategies, right? And so if you think about what are the biggest challenges for a startup, it's probably attracting, retaining, and developing your top talent, right? That's one thing that PEOs can do really well, because if you're a 5-person startup and you go to market and you're trying to get health insurance, you may not have access to the best health insurance plans, for example. And if you do have access to good plans, they're going to be very expensive. But through the co-employment model that a PEO brings with it, you will have access to some of the best health insurance plans on the market, Fortune 500 level plans and benefits for your employees. And you're going to be able to keep those costs low, because instead of being looked at as a 5-employee group, you're looked at as the size of that PEO's group. And some PEOs have hundreds of thousands of employees that they're partnered with. When a startup partners with a PEO, they're able to outsource 5 key HR processes. Number 1 is payroll, okay? So PEOs will handle tasks such as calculating wages, processing payroll taxes, and distributing paychecks or direct deposits to employees. The second, which we just covered, is employee benefits administration. So PEOs will give you access to health insurance plans, retirement plans, and other perks that you might not have access to in a startup environment. Not only do they provide access, more cost-effective access, but they also manage enrollment, administer benefits plans, and handle the employee inquiries related to those benefits. The other benefit of partnering with a PEO is the risk management piece. So you think about workers' compensation. Depending on what your startup is engaged in, if you're in riskier business, your workers' compensation, because you're such a small group, might be very expensive. Co-employment model also helps from workers' compensation cost perspective, but PEOs don't just focus on workers' comp. They also help in case you end up with unemployment claims, employee lawsuits, or other challenges, right? They also provide safety training programs and assistance with developing HR policies and procedures to minimize risk. Probably the last thing a startup's thinking about is, do I have my HR policies and procedure manual in place, right? That's where a PEO can come in and help with that. Another bucket is HR compliance. So it's real important that startups comply, all businesses comply with federal, state, and local employment laws and regulations. The other issue is wage laws, workplace safety laws, discrimination, and other HR-related matters, right? So PEOs will keep you safe from an HR compliance perspective. And the last big bucket, I think probably very important for a startup, is PEOs manage the day-to-day human resources administration, right? So think of it as your HR department is this PEO. So you don't need an HR department, right? You can outsource many of the challenging HR-related tasks. So PEOs maintain employee records, they manage employee onboarding and offboarding processes, and they provide HR support to both the employer, so your small business, your startup, and the employees, right? And so really what happens when a business or a startup enters into a partnership with a PEO, Businesses streamline their HR operations. They really reduce their administrative burdens, and they gain access to expertise and resources they would not have in their startup. This does allow startups to just hyper-focus on core operations, strategic goals, and delighting customers. And if you're onboarding more and more employees as you grow, as you scale, PEOs are experts at that, particularly if you're thinking about eventual international expansion. PEOs can help you get set up with that. But if you're a startup, you've got a lot going on. To shop for a PEO can be a very challenging task, right? There's over 500 PEOs that exist in North America today. Okay, and shopping for one PEO alone can take you up to 5 to 8 hours of your time just to see their benefits offerings and their fee structures. That's where PEO Metrics can help. We can provide you an analysis on the best 5 to 8 PEOs for your startup, saving you time and saving you up to 30% on your PEO costs. Whenever we compare, you save. We'd like to provide you this free PEO analysis. So if you click the link in the video description and you tell us a little bit about your company, our PEO experts will reach out and provide you this PEO analysis specific for your company. And we'll let you know whether we think a PEO makes sense for your startup. And if we think it does, we'll help you narrow down your selection to the best fit of whichever PEO that might be for your organization. Thanks for watching.